now it looks like the okay. Hello my dear friends, it's Yuri Tsvetkov, and today I want to make the this video about a very excellent reason to do it. It's about the golf performance and about the golf statistics, and in this connection the excellent reason which we're expecting during the long period of time when the Cameron champ becoming the winner of one of the events of the 3M Open. It's excellent because you know that in many cases it seems that it was unexpected from him, because we can see that during the last year the Cameron champ have not made so many reasons to expect that he will win any of the tournaments in the shortest future, but we're happy that he have did it, and it's many reasons to make analysis from what sources were coming his advantage in this tournament. First of all, I want to say told you about my different about my different social networks, and for example, now we will try to use one of them. It's the Hedge Golf East in the Instagram, the page in the Instagram, and you can see that his total performance in this tournament were described by the next subject. Oh yeah, it's working well. Okay, and the next figures. The most strong component of his game during those 4 days was the putting. And it's highly impressive because you know that the Cameron champ is not well known by his putting. I mean that maybe he is well known, but he is mostly known those fact that he is not a good putter at all. But this time he have a very huge putting, plus 8.48 strokes gained from the putting, exactly from the putting. During the 4 days in this connection, it's approximately 2.1 in each day. So it's much more better than his statistics, because usually the putting is the poor component of his game, and he is losing strokes when he during putting. And approaching well on the second position, and it's also highly important because you see that I'm making a lot of videos about the golf performance, and the subject is that the best rounds when the golfers are playing with -8 and better. And I need to say that it's a separate round, it's just for 18 holes. And I need to say that the two components are highly important for such performance. First of all, it's approaching proximity. It's quite a usual measurement, which is very popular, you know, and not only the greens and regulations, but exactly the distance, the average proximity of each approaching. But I will show you later all those figures. And plus that, the putting and the first putt proximity, because you know that when the golfers have a very excellent first putt proximity, which is close to 1 foot and less, average for 18 holes, they have much more first putts which are finishing in the hole, and in this connection they have many holes in which they are making just one putt. And this is highly understandable because you know that the square of the transition area after first putting for them is very low relative to the other golfers, and the putting, exactly the first putt proximity, is showing us for the conditions of the analyzers of the golfer in this moment and in this place. And in this case, the putting will be major subject of my topic today, and I hope that, just a second. Oh yes, I think that nobody is looking for that, but it's okay. In this connection, the putting, I will talk about putting exactly. And that is highly reasonable, because if we will try to take a look for the long-term performance of the Cameron champ, we will find the putting is the poor part of his game. And this is, in many cases, it's understandable. Because we know that the Cameron Champ is one of the longest hitters in the PGA Tour. And this connection, you know that he have a very strong motivation for the excellent performance in the tee shots. Because he is a short and discompetent, short longest hitters right now in the PGA Tour. And so it's understandable that he is trying to, to mostly concentrate on the tee shots. And this is also understandable that when the golfer has such a perfect performance in the tee shots and in the distance shot, he is not so highly attentive to the other components of the game. In the situation of the Cameron Champ, such the inattention to other components of the game is showing us that he was on the 201st position in the strokes gained from the putting. And we need to say that it's including the results of the last tournament when he have won. And this is also showing us that he have a very strong problem in the putting and the long-term performance. And in this connection, it's reasonable to say that in many cases he's playing in the tour thanks to his long-distance shots, because without it, and without such a great days which we had during the last 4 days, he couldn't show an excellent results in the PGA Tour. In some cases, this is serious reason for us to, to think about our putting. Certainly, it's if we will take a look for the best putters, we will find that there are not so many golfers among them who have amazingly perfect performance. Let's say that Louis Oosthuizen is exclusion because he is playing perfectly during the last 2 months and in the long run also. The Jason Kokrak is also exclusion because you see that he's on the 4th position currently in the strokes gained from the putting, but he is the best one in the putting at all, this compounded putting. But we can find here also the Jan Poulter or T.J. Poston or Zach Johnson, who are not so highly strong performers this season and the previous seasons. So in this connection, the putting is not exactly the, it's highly important component of the game, but Colin Morikawa, for example, he's not a strong putter. Just take a look, where is Colin Morikawa in this list if you can find him. Okay, we can find him among the at least the 50 best in the putting. So it's talking us that to be best in the world, you need not to be excellent putter. But to win, you need to be excellent putter exactly in these tournaments in which you are taking part. Because the same situation for the was last week for the Colin Morikawa, because he was much more better in the putting last week than his average figures in the long term. And the Cameron Champ, we can see that he have the same situation. So to make the more compounded, completed analysis of his putting during those 4 days, I have made the Google spreadsheet in which I'm putting all his putting on all holes from each hole from exactly distance for the first putt. So we can see that in day 1, it's a yellow figures here. So in day 1, on the first hole, he have played from the distance 11 feet and 9 inches. It's approximately 3.6 meters. I'm making it in meters because some of my auditorium is from Europe. In this connection, in Europe, the meters, in some countries at least, maybe in many countries, it's more representative figures than the yards, for example, in this case. Those of you who are using the yardage and the feet for the feet, for the measurement. They can receive information about from the feet and inches, and those one who prefer the meters can take it from the meters. I'm also doing for my students who are who are mostly thinking in the meters more than in the feet. I'm trying to tell them that it's much more that useful to use the feet, because you can always measure it with your legs. So that is the very useful and very comfortable method of measurement. So this way we are calculating the average distance, the total distance in the meters, and we calculating the total number of the putts. This is in the day 1. We can see, if we need to understand his performance and his advantage which we received, we can say that on the first hole exactly he have made 1 putt, and from this distance the probability of 1 putt is approximately 0.3, 0.25%. Oh, excuse me, 30%. And this connection, that he have played better than the average golfers, and certainly he have gained some shots from this distance, from the first hole. There are not many reasons to expect that he have raised any strokes from the next 5 holes and the next 6 holes, 7, and maybe just on the 9th hole. He again received, he have made excellent putt for 13 feet and 13 feet and 2 inches, and he have made just 1 putt. So this way we can calculate, and we can see all of his. Oh, it seems that maybe I have some mistakes here. I hope that no, but later I will need to take a look about it again. So the day 2, it's again the situation here. Yeah, again situation with the number of putting and the distances of the putting. So the total distance for the putting for the first putt was 91.4 meters, and the total number of the putt 27. In day 3, the total distance was 160.5 meters and 27 yards, 27 putts. So we can see that it's the same number as in day 2. I mean that in putts, but the distance of the putting total distance of the putting were longer, more longer, almost 20 meters. So the 1 meter in each hole at average. And in the 4th day, his approaching were even less useful, but because he have made a first putt from the distance 136.9 meters, and he have made 31 putt. But totally those figures of the putting is much more better than his average figures, which he had during the all season and during the previous seasons. And which way you can use this information to practice your golfing skills? First of all, you can play from the same distances as the Cameron champ, for example. And every week we have the new winner, and you can compete with exactly with this winner. And you can compound how many. Sooner or later you will have the very excellent performance in your putting, statistics in your putting, because you will see that how many shots are you making from the different distance. You will find that how seriously is relative the number of the total number of the in meters and the total number of putts. And you will better know the different components of your putting. You will better know the short putting. You will better know the average putting and the middle putting, and you will better know the long putting. And you will understand that where you are losing, where you are mostly losing the disadvantage, where you have the disadvantage against the professional golfers. It's certainly understandable that, for example, they are playing in different conditions with the different green speeds, and maybe the greens where they are playing a little bit more hilly and so on. But from another side, you will play in those conditions in which you will make your training. And in this connection, you see that maybe it seems that it's certainly a mistake here. So it seems that you need to play. You need to have skills which are necessary for those conditions in which you are playing, but not the Cameron Champ, for example. In this connection, it will be quite useful for you. It's certainly highly important to play from absolutely different hole to in absolutely different holes on the practice green, for example. But most of them must be hilly and up and down and left and right with the different breaks. And in this case, this information will be much more informative for you. So it's certainly reasonable to take a look for his golf swing, because you know that we have talked that till the last tournament, the most advantage he is receiving in the long run, his most advantage he is receiving from his tee shots and his from his full swing. Certainly, it's understandable that with such a perfect swing, it's many reasons to be concentrated exactly on the performance and exactly on the golf swings. But I hope that he's becoming more smart, and in this connection, I hope that he will understand that when he is excellent in the putting, that he need to train in putting, and you know that his golf swing will be much more valuable in the eyes of the golfers of the spectators if he will have more oftenly winning. But currently 3 winnings during his professional career looks like the excellent results. But what is not excellent is that he is not so oftenly finishing among the first 10 golfers. This season he have finished just 2 times among the 10 best golfers on the tournaments. So amazingly excellent swing, and I hope that the future of this golfer will be even much more interesting than his starting of the professional career. But it's it's excellent. You see that how his hips is walking, and certainly it's highly useful to study golf swing from him. But what we need to think is that in some cases the tee shots is excellent pluses for him, but from another side, in some cases it's also the source of the. Just a second, excuse me. It's also the problem of become problematic when we see that he's approaching. It was not again till the end, until the last tournament, where he was excellent in approaching. But in all other during all his professional career, approaching was not his strongest component of the game, and in approaching he have also lost some points. So strokes were not gained in the long run. Again, we will try to take a look for his statistics, for his performance. Okay, no any question. Okay, that's excellent. So we can see that yes, his performance. We can see that the approach into the green, stroke gains from the approach to the green, he was not so good as the average golfer at all. It seems that maybe his tee shots are so highly efficient because he is mostly strong in the driving, certainly. In this case, the driving is necessarily the positive angle of attack, and the approaching game also necessary the negative angle of attack. And this connection, it seems that his golf swing is much more useful, and exactly for the tee shots, exactly for the drivers, exactly for the clubs with the positive angle of attack. And when he's making approaching, he's not feeling so highly comfortable, because that compression which is necessary, transition which is necessary to make the excellent approaching, such as the Colin Morikawa is doing, maybe you know that his swing is a little bit more impulsive, that it's necessary to have an excellent approach into the green. But as we see, currently it looks that he is in such strong form that he can play everything, and he's the poorest component of the game becoming his best components of the game. We have also seen that around the green, strokes gained around the green, he couldn't receive any advantage. And it is also the problem of the young golfers, because you see that they are mostly trying to hit the greens more oftenly, and they are highly concentrated exactly on this component of the game. And sometimes they don't know what to do. I mean that relative to the other components of their game. That they are not so strong exactly in the short game around the green, because they are not specially concentrating on this component of the game. They are thinking, okay, if I will have 80% or 85% greens in regulation, I will need to play just on 3-4 holes, less than 3-4 holes for the short game, for the scrambling and this connection. I need not to spend too much time for this component of the game. But in many cases, the short game around the green is also the highly useful source of the birdies and eagles, mostly birdies, on the par 5 holes. And in this connection, they are highly seriously influencing not only for the scrambling, but also for the number of birdies, or the percentage of the birdies, or the average birdies figures on the par 5 holes. And as we know, in the long run, most of the golfers, almost all of them, are playing par 3 holes at average in 3 shots, par 4 holes and par at average, and just on the par 5 holes they are receiving the serious advantage. And in this connection, sometimes the difference between two golfers depends exactly from the average number of the birdies which were made on the par 5 holes. So the golfer who have the average 4.25 shots on the par 5, and those one who have 475, exactly they are playing in the different legions of the golf. Some first one is on the highest position, and this second one is in the average, on less than average positions. I have made the video about the golf statistics of the Cameron Champ in the January of the last year, not this one, but the last year. And we can see that in those times, his strokes gained of the tee were approximately the same as he have currently. His approach into the green have changed, not so seriously, but a little bit improved. And that is good information for him. And the game around the green also a little bit improved, but in the putting he have started play at average. At average he have started to play even less successfully than he did in those times, because in those times his average result were scoring average were approximately 70.5, and currently his average figures are 72.2. So, and the birdies average is 3.9. This is mostly the information which I think that will be highly useful for you, exactly in those cases that you will be maybe a little bit more attentive to the putting. As we know, even David Peltz have written his excellent books about the short game and the putting, that most of us are thinking that the putting is very not so difficult component of the game, and we are thinking, okay, I'm not so bad putter, I can putt. But in this case, we are not improving these golf skills. We are not spending too much time for that. We sometimes thinking that if we are not making the first putt, it's just that some kind of the unlucky, but it's skills, and it's a highly important skills to improve your game for your better performance. And it seems that for most of us, the putting is exactly most simple way and the best way to to improve our performance. I'm also always practicing this the drills when I taken the putting of the new winner from the different distances, and I'm trying to play from the same distances as they are. And my usual difference with the professionals of this level is 2 shots in each round, two, maybe 2.5. In this case, its components look like the quite normal for me. I have more other components of the game which are not so excellent in the approaching exactly, because as most of us, I have started to teach the that luck impact just during the last 2 or maybe 2.5 years, and I'm not playing from the childhood in the golf. I have started to play just after 30, and in this connection, I have not so much novels relationships between my hips and my brain, and in this connection, I had the facilities with the starting my golf swing from the hips. And this is also important point how to move the hips, because many times I have spent for rotating of the hips, but currently I understand, thanks to the Michael Malaska for videos and other guys, that my hips were working pulling, because you see that when you are rotating your hips, you are not making a special rotation, you are just making direction movements. Right hip back from the stance line, left hip back during the backswing, and the left hip back going back from the stance line during the downswing. And the transition is also amazingly important point for that, because if you have no transition, you will often have the firstly you will hit the big ball, and after that the small one, but you will not have you will not have the compression of the ball, and you will have the flip impact, and the flip impact have the much more less accuracy than the luck impact. And if you didn't build the luck impact, it will be quite difficult for you to to improve your performance, because you see that the transition zone in which your ball will stay after you're approaching will be oftenly outside the greens. And in this case, it seems that those of us who still playing with the flip impact, they are necessary to spend more attention exactly for such a components of the short game as the game around the green and the putting, because you know that we will have not reasons to expect that our proximity of approaching will improve with the flip impact. We need to change it for the luck impact, but 84% of all golfers, the amateur golfers, are playing with the flip impact, and approximately 50% of the professional golfers are playing with the flip impact. And this connection, you know that these skills is very rare to play with the luck impact. But you know that it's building perfectly. Now, currently, I'm working as an independent golf instructor, and I need to say that even from the first lessons, when we are building the golf swing, which is that close to professional, which is concentrating exactly on the impact position, I see that even during the first lesson, some of the students are making excellent shots, which are very close to the average shot for the average amateurs. So in this case, that it's not just the some kind of scientific trying to make something scientific about researching of the Cameron Champ or other guys golf swing performance. But mostly it's something like empirical, because you need to say that, okay, he's making mistakes from such a distance. Well, I have not many reasons to expect that I will play better from this position. Okay, he's maybe not so excellent with the first putt proximity, and if I will concentrate exactly on the first putt proximity, I will have more and more better results. And in the end, I just want to show you how I'm trying to use the first putt proximity for the and the approaching proximity for the expectation of the excellent rounds. For example, the Danny Lee, excuse me, have played on the holes from 10 to 12 on the I'm not fixed on one of the competitions, and his first 3 holes he have made approaching exactly from the distances 166, 158, and 163 yards. And after that, that's his proximity after those shots were 11 feet, 12 feet, 8 inches, 51 feet, 4 inches, and we can say that, okay, if 2 of them were on the green, 1 of them were on the bunker, and the average distance in yards were 7.7. And proximity were excellent on the first 2 shots, on the first 2 strokes, but for the third one it was not so excellent, but the average proximity was still perfect for such a distance, and in the percentage the average proximity was 4.8%, and it's excellent result. And he was also very good in the first putt proximity, because he have finished the first hole in the birdie. He have made 1 putt, the 10th hole for him on the course, and first for him. On the next hole, he was in 1 inch off from the hole only, very close to the birdie. And on the next hole, he was in the 2 feet and 9 inches. So his average proximity after first putt was 0.3. So it was reasonable to expect that he will play perfectly in this round. And for example, the Lucas Glover is also interesting, because that he have attacked the green on the same holes. He is a little bit longer from the tee shots, and he have attacked the green from the shorter distance. And that his average proximity in the yards were 4.8. and his proximity in the percentage was 3.1. It's an amazingly perfect, certainly amazingly perfect result. And his first putt proximity was 0.11. And at this day, Lucas Gloves have played with the scoring -8. So in some cases, this statistics is giving us some kind of prediction power exactly in those days which we are looking for. It's not always, certainly, because sometimes they're playing perfectly just first 3 holes, but after they're starting to think that maybe they're not so excellent to play with such a scoring, or maybe they are trying to be better than they were before and they are losing concentration. But most of them are highly professional golfers in this connection. Sometimes they have an excellent days in which they are showing excellent performance, exactly because they have the excellent conditions of the proper receptors and the different analyzers, and the excellent form for golfing in those days. So I hope that this is also interesting information, because if we will calculate our first putt proximity, and we will concentrate exactly on the first putt proximity, we will find that more and more our balls are finishing after first putt exactly in the hole. And plus that we have less 3 putts, and the 3 putts avoidance is decreasing, and we have an excellent performance. So this is, that in some cases it's a way for the additional motivations to play golf, because you see that in some components of the game we could not be close to the professionals, and but we are dreaming about it. But in other components of the game, we can be much more close to them. And to be much more close to them, we need to understand some important points, some important tasks which we need to, which we need to achieve to have a better performance. So I hope that this information and this statistics, this performance will be highly useful for you. Albert, thanks a lot for any kind of your questions. I will also ask you to maybe take a look for my channel, just for that I'm trying to develop exactly in the direction of the maybe 3 forms of the uh, golf content. The first one is just the videos of the best golfers, but in the case of the exactly in those situations when they are leading after one of the days of any of the tournaments, because you know that I'm calling it how to swing to lead those and other events. And the second important point for me is how to swing to play 61, for example. Genuine Lee 6 for the last video about it. And I think that it's very rare situation when the golfers are playing with -8 and better, and this connection is highly necessary and highly interesting to concentrate exactly on such a golfers. And that is working well, mostly because you see that many golfers who are winning the tournaments in the last 2 months, usually they are showing very excellent results in the once every day, and it's showing us that they are coming in the good, that the good feelings, that they are coming in much more better understanding, maybe better management of their game, and you know that maybe psychologically for them it's becoming much more easy to play with it, excellent scoring, and certainly it's also understanding that when you have a scoring -8, you are improving, the probability of those fact that maybe you will have enough shots to win and also other competitions. I'm also trying to make the golf swing analysis video, and one of last of them is the great bolt left wrist triumvirate, because it seems that it's a good time for rethinking about a golf swing, because we see that the three best golfers in the world currently are the bolt left wristers, and they both left wristers after the backswing in the beginning of the downswing, because as we know, a lot of golfers are both left wristers at the impact position, and it's becoming a little bit difficult to understandable why they are both left wristed at the impact, and what is the problem if they will be the left both wristed in the end of the backswing in the beginning of the downswing during the transition phase. Certainly it's understandable that main reason for that is that many teachers and instructors are talking to us that okay, but they are playing mostly with the fades, and the fade it's maybe not the longest shot in the golf, and this connection, the draw, have a little bit more advantage in the distance, but we need to think that the second teacher of the Tiger Woods have tried to teach him not to play the draw, because the draw sometimes is the carry is finishing in the center of the fairway, but the draw is running and outside of the fairway in the rough. So the experience of the Colin Morikawa exactly is showing us that he is the best approacher in the golf, and in this connection he has the best proximity in the golf. In this case, you know that his swing looks like the amazingly excellent exactly for approaching, and amazingly excellent for strokes gaining from the tee to the green. So it seems that it's many reasonable to rethink about it. For me, it's also interesting subject is the relations between the trading, for example, and the golfing, because as the Michael Mauboussin has written in his book, that the good golfer and the good investor have much more the same qualities, and in thinking, decision making, and in the the personal qualities than the excellent golfer and the bad golfer. And it's also the subject for the that we are playing in the probability game, so they are mostly the skill thing, they are based on the skills, but from the other side they still stay the probability games. And in this connection, the golfers as an investors need to be highly successful in the conditions of the serious pressure of the after unexpected mistakes and so on. So the worst holes were not at flying in so seriously for their performance as for the average golfers. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope to receive your information, your ideas about improving of my channel, and you see that the all over the golf becoming more and more popular as hashtag also. And in the Instagram, for example, I'm currently have 20, just a second, just trying to take a look. Yes, 23,200 subscribers, and sometimes my statistics is coming to 3 million impressions during the 30 days. So it's becoming more and more popular, and but the in the case of monetization, the YouTube is only the subject for official monetization for me. So I will ask you to, if you like some of my videos, please stay your likes and maybe subscribe for my channel, because you see that for me it's highly important, and you know that you will make also the very important, you know, that something like the you know that it will be the compensation to me as the people who is trying to develop the golfing here in Russia, because you know that certainly the golf is the best probability game in the world, and in this connection I think that the golf is something best we best what Russia can take from the world, and maybe in this case we will have much more reasons to think the same way, and maybe it will be excellent for the better understanding for each other, because you know that people here in Russia are very friendly, but we have a little bit different history, we have a little bit different understanding of the historical, you know, that the historical process, but this difference maybe is excellent for the saving of the life, because you see that if it will be the same, it will be less reasons to expect that in different conditions in the world, in our history, that in different conditions the different of us will have much more better, you know, opportunities to life. So thank you very much again, because now I'm going to the very common questions. It's from the very specific one, but it's time to stay. And thank you very much. Have a good day. Have a good golf all over the golf. And I hope to see you on my channel. Bye bye.